All right, everyone. Welcome back. Gosh, are we on episode 3 now? That sounds right. I think we're on episode 3 of season 3, 3.3. Um without further ado, I guess one little bit of bookkeeping. I think we might go on a bigger break after this one. I don't know, Don, what your schedule is like. I know that your life is about to
I will
change
I will tell
drastically.
you I will tell you what my schedule is when I have any idea what my schedule is. We're
Okay, but
basically
it's
at the
like
point now
After
where it's
the
like any
season or
day,
any
after
day.
the
Yeah,
session?
any day.
literally any day.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I would say that we can keep planning to try to do sessions as long as we can. The longest that I have is the week of the 20th. Like Monday the 20th is like that's when we induce.
Okay.
So I've got
So,
I've got 2 weekends between now and then.
I'm so excited
next
for you,
weekend
Don.
is no for me. So we're
And
gonna we're
I
gonna
am the no
aim.
after that one.
You're no on the 19th.
Yeah. That's my
Okay.
other
Well
group
then
starting
then
up.
There we go.
this is gonna be the last one for a little bit, which is great for me actually, because that gives me plenty of time to get ready for City of Karshtop.
You also just hate doing this so
I
much.
fucking hate all of you people and doing this, and it is literally
we
as
for in case you
Damn,
didn't
the
know,
worst.
we definitely keep a gun to your head
Mhm.
saying you have to do this every
Mhm.
week.
Yeah, my family is being threatened daily to make sure that this continues.
We do know where you live.
No, literally earlier today, I was planning, and Sophia asked me a question about something, and so I started explaining, and launched into probably a 15-minute explanation of something. And this was while we were having the conversation about, maybe I need to scale back on the planning and do it a little shorter, so that I can save time. At the end of it, she was like, "Are you sure you don't want to spend as much time as possible planning this?" And I was like, "Well, this one in particular maybe is fine."
We love
all
you.
right. Yeah. Well, without further ado,
Thanks.
let's do a recap of what happened last time.
Well, Stone fought a guy in a cave.
Stone did
and,
fight a guy in a cave. What guy? What was his name?
He doesn't have a name.
Specifically did not have one.
Specifically doesn't have a name. And it wasn't much of a fight. It was more like the guy shivved the shit out of Stone, and then Stone turned invisible, and the guy started crying like a bitch, and he was like, "I can't let this stand." So we built him back up a little bit. He's gonna go out into the world with the pilgrim and kind of reconstitute his life, and that was about as best of a scenario as we could have possibly hoped for. So, yeah, everything turned out better than expected.
It was all fine. Okay, and then we jumped to the main party who had left Arcadiava, and
Made some camp.
Yep, was in camp. We saw a little bit of a glimpse of Anastas's dream, which was of what?
Which was of it was Anastas's and Alexander's dream.
It's a shared dream.
Alexander role playing a young man that Anastas in their past was sent to collect for Karshtopian reasons, and this dream in particular was induced because that was the last time Anastas marched to Karshtop in this direction.
Yeah, it really seems like old memories are being dragged up, aren't they?
Yes, they certainly are, which is a consistent problem for our dear friend.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but we all do. So
No idea what you mean.
I
Just
couldn't
dipping
be.
into everybody else's dreams and sharing your dreams with everybody else.
Couldn't be.
There's a weird
moi.
demon chasing you, probably.
yeah, and then we thought the demon was there. The demon was there, but nobody believes Alexander because we saw the cat and bat.
How could we possibly?
It was a
believe
cat
it?
owl, I want to say.
And why would no one believe me?
and
Probably the most upstanding member of our entire party.
we were basically like, okay, Alexander, whatever, go back to bed now. Okay,
Go back to bed, you weirdo.
yeah. Okay, Grandpa. Sure.
Old man yells at Matt.
And made our way to, oh my god, I just had it in my head.
Raymond's Folly.
Raymond's Folly. I was going to say Roman's Folly, but that's not right.
That would be so wrong.
We made our way to Raymond's
so
Folly, not without encountering a successful yet Pyrrhic victory of some Gardanian militiamen hunting down some Andaran Hadra and killing the shit out of them. Their corpses feasted upon by a large, fined porcu-bear.
Do we know what those things are, by the way? Or did they just say, yeah, those things suck?
They're in the woods. They're in the mountains. You gotta watch out for them.
They're spiny bears.
They're dire bears, and
Easy peasy.
We've all played D&D before, okay? They're dire bears.
They're dire. Dire bears. Anyway, we came to them without incident. Came into Raymond's Folly. They were actually, until we met the militia, were very friendly.
Very
open. All of us offered us shelter at the inn. The guard was informative. We split off where Constantine and your boy Anastas were going to go check out the camp of the guard, just because they didn't really have any reason to rest at the inn. But Alexander and Dorian certainly wished to bathe and to rest their weary eyes. At which point they countered. Out in there.
We stumbled across Stone.
Yeah.
Stone, yeah.
Finally reunited with the party.
Yeah, you guys
after an entire season and then some.
You barely got to talking when Stone was like, "Oh, Anastas is where?"
That's not going to go so well. We should probably catch up.
And we found out that much to Anastas's what's the word? I don't want to say like chagrin, but it wasn't annoying as it was disappointing that the Gardanian militia had no friends
just disappointed.
And they escaped Najit control under Valentian and are here hunting down the Hadra, hoping to rout the rest out of the area. Anastas attempted to parlay. That was unsuccessful. They did hear word of a wounded militiaman, whom which Stone. Do we want to take turns?
Sure. We can take turns.
Okay.
So Stone tried to go in and kind of assess the situation. The guy was very gravely wounded, like to the point where Stone's limited healing magic was not gonna fix things in any kind of a permanent way. But he was able to heal him at least to the point where he's gonna live a little bit longer. And weirdly, he knew like the song that Stone used to heal him, which was interesting. But while he was there, he overheard a conversation between this guy and his like wife, lover, girlfriend, his significant other of some kind,
Partner.
And partner. Thank you, partner. And they he was saying that he wanted to meet the Bone Men because he wanted them to resurrect him and to bring him back. And Stone was like, well, my dude, I got someone for you to talk to. Come, like, hang out with us at the inn later on if you want to learn more about all of that situation.
And
then he left.
We left, and so we went back to the inn. I don't think anything major happened between now and then.
The militia left.
The militia did,
left.
in fact, leave.
Yeah, that was pretty significant.
We hang out, where we share some backstory about each other, and then our wounded militiaman and his partner come in and inquire to Anastas if he could turn them. Anastas explained.
Well, turn
it's not-
the guy specifically.
Turn the guy into the Najit, and Anastas explained that it is not Anastas's choice who comes back and who doesn't, and it has more to do with your will to continue and the reason to continue. If your reason is to be with your lover, that's not good enough. That's not why you're going to come back. You're not going to enjoy those things that you enjoy. You come back if you have work that needs to be done. The work being securing the land for the human race, which is what Anastas believes the purpose, duty, and path of the pilgrim is essentially rooted in. And the man says that he. What was the man's name?
I was gonna give brownie points to anyone who could remember.
Totally don't remember. I might have it in my notes.
Billy the Kid.
Milo. Talia and Milo.
Oh, Milo. That's gonna be my nephew's name.
Oh.
I didn't remember that until right now.
Gonna be a great guy, that kid.
Milo and his partner
Talia.
See, I remember Talia. I didn't remember Milo.
Steel themselves, nod, and agree, and then Vanessa says, well, wounded or not, you're going to travel with us, and you're going to go to Karshtop in the footsteps of the pilgrim. When we were attacked, explosions.
Wow. So actually, Stone was about to tell you about his interaction with the pilgrim,
Stone.
and then everything exploded.
We also shared some stories, and
We shared some stories.
and then we were attacked.
Was not ready to hear come out of Stone's mouth in any capacity, but thankfully the tension was broken with bombs.
Yeah, in a very Eoqialyn move, right before the most important information is about to be shared between party members, things go so wrong that information cannot be shared.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not just me.
We got to start using that free action to start carrying on these conversations
while fighting. Honestly,
Use
that
your
would be
free action
badass.
to
I would love
continue
that.
the lore dump.
We get into a at first successful defense of Raymond's Folly, which quickly turns harrowing.
I think at a specific moment.
Yeah, we were slaughtered.
When a fucking giant ogre comes up behind us.
Whoa, calling Karovid ogres is pretty racist, honestly.
Racist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super racist.
No.
Crazy.
Bro.
Anyway, we're fucking them up. We're shooting bullets at them. We're fucking punching them in the face, grinding them into dust, turning their bones into bread. And
then a Karovid shows up. A Karovid juggernaut shows up.
Bigger
Comes
fireballs.
crashing in,
Hand
ruins the
oil.
day, fucks us up. Not really. He didn't fuck us up.
Well, no, that thing never touched us because it would have killed us if it had touched us.
But it
Thankfully.
fucked up the plan. We had some heroic moments. A massive damage blast by Dorian.
Oh.
It looked like we could win.
Super Saiyan.
And then the knight with the fire armor and the threat of being turned into pate from the Karovid just proved too much, yet we held out quite long enough to evacuate the remaining members of Raymond's Folly. And I think we only lost a single guard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, we lost several guards.
2 or 3. Almost everyone on that southern flank died.
Everyone, except Talia on that flank died.
Talia saved one of the guys on that flank for sure.
One of the other, right? One of the guys that got wounded right away.
Oh yeah, one guy died, one guy ran, the other guy died.
Yeah.
Yes.
We lost 2.
Some of them were we didn't. Yeah, but they were all red shirt guys, weren't they?
Wow. Red shirt?
So they were the guys that the militia either didn't want or didn't want to go with the militia. So that should tell you who you had.
But Talia fought bravely without armor. She survived. we make
she
our
did
escape,
survive.
and thus here we are.
Yeah. Which that reminds me that there was a rules question that we had last time, which I'm going to clarify right now. When making a like magic type attack that is just straight damage, it does not get a defense check, but if you do have anything else that mitigates damage, that gets mitigated. That said, the way that the Hadron army, the Andaran army works specifically is that I forgot about this. They're not actually making a magical attack. They are using magic to power a gunshot.
Oh.
So what
fair
I am
enough.
going to rule in the future is that they are going to be making attacks, and they just so that means that you can use defense to block the shots. It does a lot of damage, but you can mitigate it. But then also that they don't have to be taking corruption every time they fire.
They're
They can
shooting.
sort of cast the spell at the beginning and then make multiple shots with it. And that's kind of
That
how
makes
it'll
sense.
balance.
They're sort of like making like a firebox or something. Like
Yeah,
that,
it's just
right?
like a short little like
yeah.
burst
Yeah.
in there.
I
Yeah.
want one.
Yeah, you
Real
sure
bad.
you sure do.
You sure do.
I've
And
been very interested in that. Just
I
haven't gotten.
you do have one of the weapons.
I was gonna
Oh.
say, don't you already have one?
So you would
had one, like,
only
right
need
away.
to grab shot for it, and then you
Oh.
could use it. And
Perfect.
because you've taken pyromancy as the thing, you can just use it.
Amazing.
I was wondering why you
um,
hadn't pulled that thing out.
I don't have any shot. I didn't realize.
But then we killed like 4 of them
Fair enough.
bastards.
So you very easily
And
could have
immediately ran
grabbed
away.
some shot.
Like grabbed a shot bag, yeah.
Okay.
Well,
So what do I got to add to my sheet then? for
So,
this?
you can for right now, let me. I might have to pull it out for you here, because there
Alright,
there is a gun in here someplace.
Pat is being very generous right now, and we should be very worried.
I am very worried.
Yeah, this will
Terrible.
backfire like a gun can.
I'm the one receiving it. I'm especially
We should
scared.
not have easily grabbed.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You're within the blast radius of the rest of us. Or sorry, we are within the blast radius of you. Is I think the better way to put that.
There are no
Perhaps
like.
literally in this case.
There is no like
Well,
shot
Pat was
under
dead once. Yeah, you
ammunition.
could've.
Yeah, you definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, there were lots of dead dudes with these weapons.
Just grab it as arrows, bolts, regular.
Okay. Well, I have those and a crossbow already.
So rename them.
Yeah, you can make your own items.
Name it Bullet.
That's what I did.
Well,
think I
where
have
is this stupid thing? What is
I
it?
have my black sap incense, and I have my better sap. And also
Hey, okay, here we go. Oh, so the other thing, Dorian, is that using this thing is going to be an accurate check. So.
Oh no.
Even
But
with
you, but you
I have
specifically
technician.
don't have to. Okay, well, there you go.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Alchemical fire
oh no,
tube.
that's bad.
All yours.
Okay, that makes tactician kind of bad.
Yeah, cunning instead of accurate when attacking with anything but heavy weapons.
I would not call this a heavy weapon.
Okay.
But otherwise,
What's the name of it?
It's the alchemical fire tube. It is on your character sheet.
Oh.
But I'm going to end up editing that description. For right now, just know that you can use that as a 1d12 attack, but it does get defended against.
Okay. And how do you want this to work with like corruption?
It is such a small effect as I envision it like that you do not need to roll for corruption while doing it. I would call this like a cantrip.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, right now it's just better than Brimstone Cascade until I can level that.
It is not. It is not. Brimstone Cascade goes directly through armor. They do not make a save.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So, if
and
you...
speaking of corruption, I can reset it today, right?
You sure can. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, let's get this show on the road. Does anyone have any other questions before we get to our next thing here?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
Okay. Let me just find that. No, it wasn't that one. It was called that. Okay. The first glimpses of dawn rise above the black peaks to your east, shedding a dim purplish light over the small clearing where your small band has collapsed in exhaustion after your long flight from the Hadra. The mountain is peaceful, calm in the early hours, a fact for which you are endlessly thankful. Of the perhaps 24 villagers, 19 yet remain. 3 were lost in an explosion of Hadran fire as you exited the village, another 2 lost in the dark as you scrambled into the woods, hearts and lungs pounding. Most of them, your beleaguered refugees, lay sleeping in the grass. One, a middle-aged woman with a weary gaze, stares out towards the valley and the Great Bay behind you. Her stare is distant and lost, and when she turns to you, it is not with fear or doubt or pain, but simply resignation. Where are we going to take them, teacher? Constantine asks, his voice cautious and quiet, as not to wake anyone.
The answer evades me. I wish to shepherd them with us, but I fear their safety, as shameful as it is to say. I wish to shelter them in the holy city of Karshtop. Its doors meant to be a testament to mankind's might and our service. But Valention has cast much doubt, as your former ward, Horatio. I fear uncertainty may become
I have not been to Karshtop, but I have heard it is not a kind place for the living.
It is challenging. These unborn people may be tested yet. The answer will come, Constantine. The pilgrim's light evades us, but it is not absent.
The rest of you awaken a short while later on this mountainside clearing. The refugees are slowly waking around you and taking stock of your food and supplies. Constantine did manage to grab your packs and your equipment, but not your horses, who fled into the night after Alexander had opened the stables during the fight. The refugees themselves were able to grab some little food from the innkeeper before the inn was burned, in addition to whatever you have on you, they have food for maybe 2 or 3 days, but it is not a lot, and there are a number of them.
Did Drake Merchant survive? And is he with us if so?
Drake Merchant did survive. He is not with you, however. Can somebody give me a vigilant check?
I got
Whoever
it.
wants to do it.
Failed.
Nope.
Alexander, you recall when opening the stables on your way out of Raymond's Folly, not seeing the cart of your dear companion Drake Merchant. Perhaps he fled into the night, but he is not with you now. The game is yours, my friends. What shall we do?
Stone is going to walk over to wherever the rest of the rest of us are gathering, and is just gonna raise that exact same question, which is, what is our plan? We cannot stay here.
No, no, we cannot. I mean, I would imagine we just keep going to Karshtop, don't we? Anastas, do you know if there's anywhere that these people could perhaps find refuge inside of the city?
Anastas, you would know that Karshtop Township outside the city walls has historically had a small human population living there. It has never been robust. You would not have ever described it as a nice place, but there are humans living there, and it is in the care of the Najit. That said, the tactician in you also knows that the Hadran army is marching, and it is entirely possible that Karshtop itself sees a siege, and those people that are outside the walls are not going to fare well in that siege. It seems like everywhere you go, the Hadra simply follow.
I say we shepherd these people with us. But before we reach Karshtop, we send them north to the forest. May their king give them guidance.
It seems like it would be a good stopping point, at least, between what we came from and to Wilhout.
Should we not try to determine where the militia went? They would serve as apt defenders for these people wherever they went.
That's exactly what I was going to say, and it's not as if we could just send these people out with such little food on their own without any sort of protection off to the north after we decide to break off for Karshtop.
Do we know where they said they were going? They were patrolling,
They were
but...
going to attack the camp of the Indara, who, it seems, attacked first.
But we don't know where that would be exactly. And the Hadra have since moved, clearly.
And we saw the results of their last raid.
We do know that it was up here towards the mountains. DM, did we see any, like, sorts of maps or anything? I know I didn't get, like, a full clear view of, like, their plans, but have we perhaps noticed any of those when we were in the military camp last session?
You may not have looked at the plans, but I did, as I was planning on joining them. Talia, your young militia woman, butts in. And yes, they were headed into the mountains here along this same path, I can tell you that our scouts had caught wind of a camp in this direction maybe 2 days. It was nestled in the valley between two... Here, let me show you on the map. We believed it to be in this valley here, between those two peaks.
Not seeing the map.
Sorry.
Thank you, Pat.
And I'm guessing we're just north.
Dorian will kind of take a look around our surroundings and back down at the map.
Yeah.
Could he maybe determine like the fastest route or how long it may take us to get there?
Gosh.
Or where they may have made camp in this general area?
Yeah, so give me a do you have cartography as the
I have cartography as a boon and cartographer's tools, bro.
What does cartographer as a boon give you?
+1 to checks, just like the tools.
Okay, so you have a +2 to these checks. Give me a cunning check.
You got it. All right.
Solid.
I know
Yes.
math.
18. Jeez.
Now, the militia had some hours on you, and were not scrambling through the dark. That said, they most likely did not run through the night the way that you have. They probably would have followed a very similar path, and it is likely that they are in very close to you right now, somewhere in these hills. It is probably going to take them another day or two to get into that valley that Talia had indicated, but tracking them might be difficult across this rough terrain.
Alexander, do you have a moment?
Yes, Theodorian?
Oh, you're not going to like this, friend, but I believe I'm going to need your assistance with catching up with the rest of this militia.
Oh,
They have
dear.
supplies, and they are the protection that these people need. They are perhaps a day ahead of us at most. And you or Anastas are probably the best bets for catching up with them. And although Anastas is probably the most physically able, well, he is a Najit, and we've seen how they feel about Najit. So,
It's true.
I hope your boots are broken in, my dear friend, because you've got a bit of a jog in front of you.
I will
need
do
you
what I
for
can.
this.
Can you show me on the map, or give me a map that I can
Yeah.
use to find my way? Little cartographer?
I actually can. Probably. I have the tools for it, and a lot of paper.
That's
And
right!
crayons, bro!
He has the tools.
Specifically
Got a bunch of
purchased crayons.
Yes. They didn't
No
have any
pens,
pencils
no
or pens.
pencils, crayons.
It is the
Which
writing
legitimately
implement
makes
of
a lot
Sumbaran.
sense, actually.
Wait, we've got all sorts of rations if you've got crayons. We're fine.
Okay.
Not
Just
eating my
on the ground,
crayons,
doodling.
Stone, for the last time.
So
Get
this,
your hands out of
We
there.
wish to explore the possibility.
So this is going to be a complex check. So basically what, Alexander, you're going to do, there are going to be 3 skill checks that you are going to make. You must succeed on at least 2 of them. The checks that you are going to make are a quick check, a vigilant check, and a cunning check. The cunning check you get +4 on because of Dorian's assistance.
Thought I asked about the map.
The quick and vigilant check are just going to be straight.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do this, bro. Let's do this.
Sorry. Either the quick or the vigilant check is going to be made at -2. I'm sorry, I read my notes incorrectly.
Okay.
Quick, straight. No, vigilant.
Vigilant +4, and then quick or vigilant is going to be at -2, and that's
Cunning
going to
+4.
represent
Cunning
are
was
you
+4.
Cunning +4.
Cunning +4, quick or vigilant -2, and that's representing you're either choosing to be careful about where you're going or choosing to move as quickly as you can.
Mm.
Right. Makes sense.
And I can't be discreet about it, huh?
I don't think that.
I don't
think it
think
fits.
that discreet fits.
You're not trying to not be seen.
If you were trying to track them and not be seen, I would take that. But that is not the situation. Right now, keen eyes, a sharp mind, and quick feet are the things that are going to get you to where you need to go in time.
Do you want team input? Do you want team input on how you should do these checks?
I think I know
Stone,
that I need to take.
So also, Stone could come with you, and he could give you a +1 to quick if he sang while you were doing it.
Well, I think
I don't know if it's a great option, but it is an option.
I think you do vigilant -2 and vomit, and then get your full force of quick, and then the cunning +4.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I think that's your best bet as well.
Take the chance and maybe even succeed on the vigilant, but then use full force quick and it's an equal cunning.
In fact, I would just roll the vigilant right now.
Let's see. Is there
now Dory
flavor
or
text?
Alexander? You could use a
I could.
Essence.
Yeah, you could.
We have two. I have two.
Why don't you just teleport there? I mean, it's much faster.
And that is exactly what would be happening if you used an essence for one of these checks. You would still have to make the other 2 checks, but then you only have to succeed on one of them.
Which was what I was thinking if I do fail on one of them. So, hopefully I succeed at least one.
Well, you want to do? How about this? Do quick first, then. Do quick first.
Well, quick was going to be the one that most.
Let's let it do.
Let's
do the thing.
Okay.
So is there flavor text for each one, or do I just roll them?
Just roll them out, and then we'll create the story around it.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with. Let's start off with the cunning, because I'm going to be using the map right away.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm using the map, so that was at a +4.
Now, do not forget, left at the pond.
Alexander's like, okay.
yeah, wait.
Yeah, I looked around and there's already like 4 ponds.
Now, I just have to pull out this peach-colored crayon here. They only had the 64 pack. These are so bizarre.
Only a 64? We have all sorts of food. Why are we worrying
Does it have the
Is
sharpener
that
on the back?
magenta?
Of course.
No, it does.
All right.
If it didn't, Dorian has installed it.
Boom.
Crushed it.
Insane. Okay. Alexander, looking over the map, you see exactly the route that you should be taking, and it is easy for you to navigate through these hills. Now let's do your quick check next.
Quick check next.
Or do we want to do the vigilant check, and then if you fail it, you use your essence on the quick check?
Guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Now that I know where I'm going, we can say speed to catch up to where they're going to. Because now they're a day ahead of me, so I need to be like booking it now, rather than looking for them just yet. I need to be quicker.
I meant
first.
in terms of like the auto pass situation, if it was needed.
Yeah, I don't. Well, if I don't worry about it, then
if I don't worry about it, it won't hurt me.
Can we fail a check and then choose to use our essence to succeed instead?
So the change was made that if it's going to be an auto success, you need to tell me before you roll.
Which would be the case that I would probably do if I fail here.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my thought was. So we're getting my 2 best out of the way. So if I may not need it, and then if that third one, which is that's going to be a 7 out of 20.
I can also see his ability giving him like almost like a scrying eye or something like that.
Yeah,
Right,
I was just thinking that too. Like an out-of-body experience, and he's like floating over. This is where
we got it. All right. Rock it
It makes
out,
sense. But use the best ones and see if we need it. Wow, I think we're gonna need it.
Wow. We definitely need it.
Dude.
Wow. Okay. Roll
All
to
right, I know
confirm.
exactly where I'm going, but I forgot to tie my shoes.
How does it? Yeah, roll to confirm, I guess.
He was lying about those
No,
boots.
so
being
this isn't an
broken.
attack. Yep. So,
So it's just
but
okay.
it is a failure. As you are scrambling over the rocks of this steep mountainside, you roll your ankle. It doesn't deal any damage, but it makes moving quickly very difficult. You go as fast as you can, but you're not sure if it is going to be enough.
So how did this essence get you there?
And thus I will use my essence to make sure that this last one is a success.
On the final check, so you are searching frantically for this group of militia soldiers. And do you want to narrate it, or would you like me to?
Go for it.
Okay. You are taking a breather. You're trying to rewrap your ankle. Things are not going well, and you look out over the plain of like back towards the Eoqialyn field, and in front of you, out of the air, you can see the image start to fold in and out, and it turns into a kaleidoscope that then starts zooming in. And as you scan the plain before you, it is like having a telescope. You search around for a moment and catch sight of the glint off of a soldier's shield down just some half mile down the slopes towards the field. And you are able to find the Gerdanian militia.
Perf.
Sick.
How would you like to approach them?
Well, I'm human, so that helps a lot. Do I have like a stick or walking stick with me too?
Yeah. After you rolled your ankle, you absolutely grabbed a stick to assist you.
I will kind of like raise it in my hands and shout out towards the captain. Because we had met him. What was his name? It was Captain.
It was a pretty generic name, as I recall.
Well, we'll just keep shouting, Captain! Captain! Captain MacGuffin.
As the kaleidoscope in front of you fades away, you see the captain and several of the militia point and look up to you and wave and start heading in your direction. Yeah. Meanwhile, what are the rest of you doing while Alexander reconnoiters?
I imagine preparing for some complications and a lack of food. Anastas approaches Talia.
Yes.
Are there hunters among you?
She looks back among the gathered. Yes, Oswald and Gus's brother. They are both experienced hunters. I'm sure that they've spent many a day in these woods.
It would be perhaps wise to prepare them to undertake collecting food for your group. I understand you have but a few days, and by the time our compatriot arrives, if they are delayed, things could become dire, and starving dogs bite.
Well, we will send them out and see what they can find.
Good.
What do the rest of you want to be doing?
Dorian takes out his new cloak and coat. It's probably pretty cold up here in these mountains, and he puts those on, kind of swaddling himself in some of the stuff that Millie packed, and he misses her a lot. And he's just kind of sitting there with a little tin cup and some snow inside of there, and he just heats it up with that little cantrip he's been working on, and takes a sip. While he kind of watches what's going on in camp. That's what he's been doing. Looking over the maps.
Yeah. Stone, how about you?
Stone is going to have inquired with Milo if he would like to join him in singing songs to help raise morale and to also make it easier to guide the militia back in should they be nearby. It's a little bit of a questionable choice being as like the Indara are nearby, so like we're not like belting it out, but at the very least, like, you know, singing softly to try to help kind of keep spirits up.
Yeah. Milo is in rough shape. You can see that the strength is waning from him, but he rolled 2 pluses. So he is hardy enough to join you in song. Could I get I guess this would be a persuasive check?
Sure.
Unless you have a compelling other...
The only argument that I could make is that, you know, I'm not singing these songs to be magical. So I don't think that resolute really makes sense. So I think persuasive does make sense, but my persuasive is not great. So we'll see what we got.
Because you have the assist. Oh, okay, you didn't need it. It's fine. What do you mean your persuasive isn't great?
It's actually pretty good. It's actually very, very adequate.
That's like a second highest sort of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
It's very adequate. I forgot my I thought it was a 10.
Your songs are inspiring to everyone who hears them. And after the long night that they have had, and with Milo joining in, everyone feels just a little bit warmer and a little more certain that things are going to be okay. Unfortunately, the hunters come back a short while later. They have found some game, some wild jakar, and a few birds, but certainly not enough to feed this group of 20 people for more than another day or so. Going on meager rations, you could maybe make it 4 or 5 days at this point. But it is something.
Yeah, better than
I not to go back or anything, but I had an interesting little thing.
Yeah.
If I could add something to
absolutely
Stone with the song. Considering Milo in his miserable shape, and Constantine's presence, I imagine Constantine is there.
Yeah.
And as you sing the song, Constantine's chanting also builds in volume. And the way that the cadence works creates an eerie duet of light and dark. And unintentionally,
yes,
the pacing interlocks.
I love that. I'm 100% on board with that.
Stone, the thought crosses your mind that this may be the first time in Eoqialyn that a human, a Hadra, and a Najit have sung together.
Oh yeah. That the importance of that fact is not lost on Stone.
Excellent. And as your song concludes, off in the distance, you see Dorian returning with a group. Alexander returning again. Sorry. Alexander returning.
Humans
with
all look the same.
A group of Gardanian militiamen up into the small clearing that you have made your home for the past day. The Gardanian militia is deeply saddened to hear what happened at Raymond's Folly, but they agree that that returning to King Wilhelt is the best option for these people. Fortunately, they have some reserves of their own, and with that, they should be able to join you to Karshtop, hopefully there they will be able to refresh their supplies before making their way up north towards Yindarin and the king. All right. Anything else you guys want to do before we reach Karshtop? Okay.
The only other thing that I could think of would be continuing our conversation, but I don't think it's thematic at this point.
We got the time, though.
You do have the time.
Take
so
it.
Perhaps that is it is going to take you
traveling.
Almost a week to get to Karshtop, at least 5 days.
We would have talked a couple times.
Where do you want us for HP?
So, okay, you took a full day of rest, so you can definitely heal for that day, and then another 5 days. So it'll be 6 days of rest total. For most of you, that should be 6 HP. Do not go over half of what your total HP is, unless you are Anastas or Stone. We discussed you were going to use your singing to heal somebody, if it was yourself or somebody else. I'm not sure.
I think that because I was so low, I was at like 1 HP. We talked about it, like I can heal myself back to full, and that is it.
Right.
That's not how you roll 6d4.
I also just realized that
it's like /R64.
Stats are still fucked up.
Did it roll? /R.
It's /roll space 64.
Oh, 3 ones.
It do be like that sometime.
Like that sometimes. That's 15. That's not bad. I'm still probably healthier than everyone else.
Where is everyone?
I'm at full.
I'm also
at full
at
too.
full.
Yeah,
Well, you
I'm good.
can't be, right?
They don't. I don't think either of them took damage.
I didn't take any damage.
Not
Not since Arcadiava.
Yeah, after we healed up there.
Well, I'm significantly wounded, but I'm in fighting shape.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna be at Karshtop shortly. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Anastas.
Yep.
Okay. Let me do this. Sure. Okay. That's completely fine. You get another 9 healing from Constantine.
Oh. Well,
who, over the course of your 6-day journey, is able to mend and repair you with his own Najit Theurgy.
Perfect.
What a stand-up guy. I love that guy.
That's why we brought him along.
That's why he's here.
He's the healing battery, man.
Yeah.
But specifically only for you.
Only for you.
I forget that campaigns usually come rich with NPCs, like tag-along friends.
Yeah.
My campaigns too?
I feel like it's a common trend. Like, you had like 7 in Under the Underdark.
In Out of the Abyss? Yeah, I mean, there were way more than 7 in Out of the Abyss. They had a whole retinue.
There was like at least another party or 2 of extra people.
Yeah. But like, Waterdeep did not.
Oh, sure.
No, that's
like,
true.
You guys had allies, but like not like party members.
Anyway.
In any case, all right, Stone. Do you want to, over one of the nights that you are sitting around the fire, conversate?
Yeah.
With
let's finish the conversation. I think that it only makes sense, especially because it's gonna be coming front and center once we get to Karshtop, I think.
So, after meeting up with the Gardanian militia, you in fact make camp for the night in that same spot, having waited most of the day. Scouts have gone out to make sure that the area is secure, and though they found a few Andaran scouts to the south that seem to have been tracking your position, those Andaran scouts were taken care of with limited casualties.
Not with no casualties.
Not with no casualties, but with limited casualties.
That's the way.
So you are safe for now. The militiamen and the refugees are making camp a short way away, and you all have a small camp to your own, slightly separated. As you sit around the fire, Stone, it comes to your mind that a conversation needs to be had with the Nastas before you reach the city of Karshtop.
Needs to be finished.
Yeah.
So Stone will approach Anastas wherever they are, and will just say, I feel it may be prudent for us to finish the conversation we started before the events of the past several days.
And here I was hoping I was mistaken with your words.
Unfortunately not.
Do you wish to do this in front of everyone?
I feel that it has as much bearing on them as it does on you. And there may be consequences beyond those that we can even perceive at this time.
Anastas displays Pyridicida at their feet and stands before you.
As I said in ending our conversation last time, I had met a being underground in the lair of the Nameless who called themselves the Pilgrim. I can describe to you their form, but whatever image you have in your mind is absolutely correct. Small girl. Very different.
Has Anastas ever met the Pilgrim?
Anastas saw the Pilgrim but once in the Amaran Bay as a slave after Istolt and the Pilgrim liberated Anastas as a human, and he was trampled into the mud to death.
Now, there are many depictions of the Pilgrim. In every Najit church, a depiction of the Pilgrim sort of being drawn up and rising, her body forming a sort of U shape as she is pulled up from the center. That forms the centerpiece of every Najit church. You've seen many depictions, but you found all of them to be lacking. Stone's description, however, is truer than any description that you have heard of the Pilgrim since you had seen her that first time.
Anastas's bones fumble. Sort of floating out of place. Almost buckling as these memories are flooded into their shattered mind. And it steels itself and lifts the wheel with one hand high above its head. Are you willing to die for these words?
Stone, who is unarmed at this point, just gestures all four arms wide and bows his head and says, yes.
And Pyridicida drops to the ground and Anastas walks over to you and puts a hand on your shoulder. Then your words must be true. For I have seen her face enter light.
Then I ask that you keep that image in your mind as I tell you the things that she told me. And please remember, as I do, that it is as shattering to my own faith as it will be to yours.
Constantine.
Yes.
Please tend to Milo.
But, teacher, how? I will do it.
And Anastas turns their gaze directly to Constantine and gives an assuring nod. Thank you, my disciple.
And Constantine reluctantly heads towards the human camp, turning once over his shoulder back to you
And
before
I
disappearing.
nod again.
How are Alexander? Are you having this conversation in private, or are Alexander and Dorian there?
What we had spoken about actually right away was whether or not we were going to do this in open or in private. It is definitely in open.
Chose to risk his life in public.
So I imagine Alexander is just sitting there with like a piece of hardtack and is just kind of like watching this.
Yeah, Dorian's kind of doing the same thing.
I imagine Dorian
Wanting
was
to chime
doing
in
that, and then just like reach for like the crayons and
Yeah,
paper,
like the notebook.
and just like starts writing.
Yeah.
Starts scribbling notes.
Like madly.
Just like kind of looks towards Dorian like,
Well,
are they good?
he keeps furiously scribbling, and it will shatter both our Well, don't stop on my account.
Should I give you both a moment, or?
No. Stay.
It is as important for you, at least in some ways, as it will be for the rest of us.
Which I suppose does bring up a very valid point. What does it have to do with Dorian and myself exactly? Does this
And
have something to do with
what did
our
you-
gaining?
What did you mean by... What did she tell you? How did this warp your view on your very religion?
Please speak, Stone.
It explains the spirit aspect in both of us.
The Pilgrim, and by extension, the rest of the Najit, were formed at least partially through the will of Isho.
Anastas's arm falls off.
Minerva like is right next to Anastas as the arm falls off, and she leaps into Alexander's lap like with a yelp.
More distressing, however, is that this union was not what was originally intended. The Najit are malformed. They are not the perfection that was sought through this union. The Pilgrim is the only true Najit that exists, at least for now. What I was told was that human bodies were merged with souls somehow taken from the Nameless. I do not know how or why this was done. However, Isho sought to give humans soul, and in so doing, and due to this malformed process, the Najit were created, and that is why you bear the skeletal forms that you do.
Does that mean the souls we carry are from the Nameless as well?
I do not pretend to understand, but what she told me next was that there is a place in Karshtop, back when it was a Hadron city before its fall, or before its claim by the Najit and humanity. The path of the Eoqialyn, a place of great power within that city that has something to do with all of this. She bade me to go there and to walk that path and to determine what, if anything, it has to do with our larger situation. And believe me, as I said, these words were not easy for me to hear, just as they are not easy for you to hear now.
One thing that she did note, and I apologize, I cannot remember if this actually came up, but in your subsequent conversations with her, she seemed to indicate that the power of the Eoqialyn was housed there, and that by getting the blessings of all the Eoqialyn, you could access the power of the Eoqialyn.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I probably was just,
anyway. When role-playing, things sometimes don't get said the way that they should.
I am also probably misremembering a lot, so thank you for keeping me straight.
Are you done explaining, Stone?
Yes.
Anastas falls into a pile. Drops. Just like when he got killed by the corrupted.
As that happens, Stone stares at the pile for just a second and then slowly sits down on the ground next to you.
Did something hit him? Is he all right? I didn't know he could just do that. Do we need to get Constantine again?
No. I think our friend simply needs some time to process.
Anastas sees the image that was given to them when they received the soul of Eoqialyn, which was as Anastas holding a dying pilgrim, just as Anastas remembers her, and just as Stone described, and can feel the connection of that soul coursing through her and Stone and Dorian and Alexander, and the pieces begin to rattle and reform around Puridicida, which lays standing vertically in the earth.
One of them gets pulled out of Minerva's mouth as she's chewing, rips out.
Fully prostrated, black smoke pouring from the center of the censer that hangs in Anastas's chest. And then I rise. I know not for how, and I know not for why. And I know not for where this path will take me. But I know now, more than ever, that it is in her footsteps. Though I can accept no god of the Hadra, I will always follow her path. And I know that you, Stone, are on it as much as I am on yours.
Our paths are intertwined. Hadra and Najit. And at the end, humanity's fate.
And the roads seem to lead the Karshtop now.
Indeed.
Now, if you will excuse me, I have a disciple. That must be spoken to. And
Will he handle it well?
To Milo and Constantine.
DM, I was curious. Both the Nameless had been brought up with everything to do with the Pilgrim when Stone saw her. Is the Nameless an entity or like a place?
So the name. Oh, okay. As Anastas walks away, because this is by far the less like pertinent thing for them. Stone will describe his vision that he had when he received the fragment of Isho's soul, and in that vision, the Nameless was and is very definitely manifest upon this plane. I know not its true form, but only that it exists, and that it is unlike anything I have ever experienced before, Eoka or otherwise.
Yeah, in that vision, Stone was standing on the lake of souls that he saw, and there was a vast black shape that moved underneath him and let out that same like deep cacophonous roar that he heard when he first went down.
And the main reason I brought this up is because I remember you had mentioned, I believe it was inside the journal, something about the unnamed when it came to
the unmade.
Oh, the unmade. Is that okay?
Is the thing that
so
gave
that is
Marulo
that
fire.
is interesting that you bring that up, because the unknowable, the nameless, and the unmade have now. The nameless was described as being something apart and from before, as is the unmade in the story that Dorian read, and as is the unknowable, out of which the Eoka were allegedly created. These are three entities that seemed to pre-exist Eoqialyn.
Not to mention the fact that the nameless somehow sitting in a lake of souls is unlike anything else that I know of in the setting. Like how and where and why
and why and why and why and why.
Okay. So Dorian's kind of putting the pieces together that these are very, very, very old, and not many people know about them.
In fact, I don't know how much you've shared about the journal, but it is likely that very, very few people know about the unmade.
Dorian will have had a bit of back and forth with Stone over this. That reminds me, inside this journal that Professor Colin had helped me translate, it brought up something called the Unmade. It had something to do with Barullo hiding within a mountain, and I'm drawing a blank exactly on how it was mentioned. I just remember that it was important and that it was mentioned.
In fact, the book is the Book of the Unmade, and it describes Barullo going to this mountain of fire, speaking with the Unmade, receiving the fire and pyromancy and learning from this creature, and then bringing that knowledge back to the Indara.
I share that with Stone.
So there may be yet more beings like the Nameless. That is not necessarily a comforting thought.
No. To be honest, I had issue even wrapping my mind around the existence of Eoqialyn in general, and now to think that there's something that has predated and even taught these Eoqialyn things is fascinating.
It does certainly mean that the fabric of this place is different than we had been led to believe by our histories and the teachings of the Eoqialyn. And what can teach a god, Dorian?
What indeed? And he will go off and kind of just pull out that journal again and begin leafing through it before bed.
Excellent. Would you like to make a check to try and determine where one of those shrines might be using your cartography skills?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you want to pick one?
What are the options again?
You didn't write them all down when I rattled them off very quickly.
I'm a terrible player, I know.
Okay. The Locust, the Lake, the Fertile Bay, the Mountain of Fire, the Great Fall, the Black Forest, and the Gathering Stone.
Check out the Black Forest.
Okay. Make a cunning check for me using your cartography. Okay. The Black Forest almost certainly refers to Vadakar Forest. Your knowledge of Vadakar is not exceptional. However, you know that there was Loken settlements and temples that existed there that were abandoned when the Loken Empire fell. Many, in fact, your conversations with Alexander, you know that treasure hunters flock to Yindarin, hoping to find treasure within Vadakar Forest, although it is incredibly dangerous. And that if you want to find a temple to Barullo in Vadakar Forest, you might want to start there.
In Yindarin?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah, Anastas was going over to Constantine.
Oh, sure.
Anastas approaches Constantine, finding him, I'm assuming, praying.
Yeah. Oh, okay, yes. You can see Milo's condition worsening, and though it has been some time since you have been alive, You wonder if Milo is going to make it all the way to Karshtop. Fortunately, his journey does not have to end. Rather, his journey through life could end prior to reaching Karshtop, so long as his body comes along. Although you know that there is a window of opportunity there. If too long passes, it is difficult for the will to come back together.
Constantine
looks at you hopefully, and with an energy and curiosity that you are not familiar with in him.
I get down on one knee to his level, and I ask him, what is more important, the path or who travels it?
That is an interesting question, teacher. For even a righteous path that is walked by a wicked man, the path, he says finally.
And Anastas takes a hand and gently peels off the remaining bit of Constantine's face, and then takes another hand and caresses the back of his head and peels off the last bit of hair and scalp.
He winces as you do so.
You feel no pain, only
the memory of pain.
The memory. Okay. And Anastas takes on his hand as an emblem of a hand, a palm with an eye in the middle and wings coming off. And I kind of pry it off, and you can see the barbs that kind of dig into my bone. And I put it on my hand, and I grab him by the face, and I push it into the side of his head and form it around his chin and jaw. This is the emblem of Santa Orlinda, one face of the first Bravoslaw. It is a badge that shows your nomination for the rank. Your path will be long, but I promise you, child, should you choose to claim it, I will guide you to be a truth teller of the pilgrim, as I feel her soul in you as it is in me. Thank you for joining me.
I am humbled. Thank you.
Only the first of the humiliations you will face.
I understand.
Good. Now, you will stay up with me. You are done resting, or you will never rest again.
Constantine stays up all night by your side without a hint of weariness or desire to sleep.
I need to pee real bad.
I was going to say this is a great time for our five.
Great. Yeah. Burp.
Cool.
All right. Welcome back. So I'm not turned to the right page. All right. So it takes you about 5 days to reach the holy city of Karshtop. Karshtop's black gold spires pierce the clouded sky rising like the points of spears in a colossal army, and all around them billows the smoke of black burning incense. The city itself sits atop a rise, sort of on top of a cliff face, surrounded by a vast plain on all sides, where winds the snaking river Kala as it drains from the mountains into the sea. Squat ruins lay littered about the base of Karshtop's impenetrable wall, all dead and silent, filled with an unsettling calm. Even at this great distance, you can spy the great golden gate, glimmering faintly in the light of the cloud-shadowed sun. Immense and gilded, you cannot fathom the price of such a thing. Huge, dark statues line the streets and loom over the rooftops, marred and broken, defaced in favor of new gods. These lonely sentinels seem to leer at you, eyeless and with contempt and anguish. I'm assuming that you are heading... Oh, but don't look at that. Here we go.
Why?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You have seen that which should not be seen.
Do we all need to close our windows real quick?
Yeah, do we need to close our eyes, Patrick?
I'm still loading. I'm still loading.
It's completely fine. The only thing that happened was that I screwed up. I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. Boom. Nope, it's not fixed. It's not fixed.
I'm still at 99%.
We can still close.
We're good.
Okay.
I had a spelling error. A misclick, and I had to fix it quickly.
Ooh, Patrick, you're on thin ice with that.
I know. I'll get it fixed.
Watch it, Bob.
Solidly 5 out of 10 session.
Yeah. Oh, it's taking you
It
guys...
was perfect.
Okay, so also it is going to take you first to the combat arena, which you shall not look upon, and then from there it should take you to where you should be, which is the Karshtop Township.
It did not bring me to a combat arena, it just brought me to the township.
Yep.
I'm with everyone.
Yep.
What are you guys seeing right now?
Like a cobbled street.
Yeah, not much.
Okay.
That rounds a corner to the north.
Yep.
This...
And to the south. Down here, there's... Oh, shit. Sorry. Shouldn't have moved. There's also stuff down here. Different way to go.
Now it's black. It's still... I'm blind.
Oh.
I have a question. Should stone be invisible already?
That is a great question for you.
God damn you. I think stone's gonna have to be invisible already. I don't think that just like a full ass Karovid Hadra wandering up to Karshtop is going to be well received in any quarter. Does anybody disagree with that? Anastas, do you think
so?
That you can keep stone
you
alive?
are on a small rise, looking down across the plain, and then the city sort of rises in the distance. You guys can make your plan for how you would like to tackle this thing. Now, Anastas, you know that the Karshtop Township, which is that sort of ruins that lie around the city of Karshtop, has human settlements in it, and the way to get into the city through as a human is by following the path of something, the path of rebirth.
Yeah.
Which there is a temple to the Eoqialyn that is sort of at the base of the high wall. So the high wall is the one that's on the side that has the the cliff face next to it. So this temple is sort of built in to that cliff face, and entering through there's a long stair that leads you up into the city. That is the path of rebirth that humans go through. You are turned into a Najit while you do this. That's how you enter the city as a human. There is also the North Gate, that large golden gate that you can see from this distance. You've sort of wrapped around. You're on the northern side right now. That would be the gate that you, as a Najit, could enter through, although humans do not enter by that gate.
Anastas would describe, well, is everyone gone? Or was that me?
I was still listening, but
I'm picking my teeth, and I don't want to be on camera doing that.
Sure. Everyone's camera cut out at the same time. I was like, okay. Anastas would describe the path to the door, the path of rebirth. Is Milo still among the living with us?
Excellent question. In fact, the reason that you have stopped here at this rise is because Milo is dying, and Talia has requested that she spend the last moments that she can with her beloved before he passes.
So Milo is gonna die right here.
She has gone away from the group, and they are having a final conversation. But in Stone's estimation, these are his last hours right now.
And Talia's not coming.
Yeah.
She
can't enter the city as a human.
So Milo's gonna follow me and the group through the path of rebirth. Is what I'm going to. Is what it's
How are our humans going to pass through the path of rebirth?
Are they They're coming with us.
Alexander.
Hello.
Do you have any input?
I meant specifically our humans.
Oh yeah.
Not the rest of the people.
About how to enter the city. So right now you're sitting on a rise, you're discussing how to enter the city. And I feel like Alexander might have some relevant information about that.
Oh god.
Not promising.
Is this character or is this me should know?
So this is sort of fill in the blank time, because I know that you got into the city. I don't know how you did. So that can be however you would like.
Okay.
Yeah, you've been to Karshtop, bud?
What?
Well, there are some ways for humans to enter the city. Catacombs beneath that go deep and run throughout it all. And they're long forgotten, at least for those of the living and potentially those of the dead. Treasure hunters have used them before.
I was trying to determine how you knew about them, but I think I understand now.
Yeah, I do. Me, Talon, is perhaps struggling more than Anastas would. What is Anastas thinking? At all? They know they can't get into the city. Certainly not.
Well, they can. Anastas can.
Anastas could walk through the front door, presumably.
Yes.
We have to take Milo through the path of rebirth.
Correct. Or at least bring Talia there, so that yeah.
What?
Constantine could also shepherd him through the path of rebirth.
What happens if you don't die?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
I think the implication
I'd imagine
that they just kill you.
You die. Yeah.
They
find a way to make it happen.
You can be proactive in those moments.
I'm sorry. Why was this not brought up weeks ago on the travels here, that I would not be able to remain alive through the process of going to this city. How has this never come up?
Dorian, I
This is
ask
curious.
you now, why would it have mattered then any more than it does now? We are equally blocked either way.
I mean, even my professor was perfectly in on this. The headmaster told me I should come here.
Well, the headmaster may not have known.
I would have known.
Anastas definitely did know.
So the only thing that makes like canonical sense is that Anastas, in my opinion, the only thing that would make any canonical sense why this was not explicitly stated and planned for is that Anastas assumes they can get in and get you in, however, was not expecting to shepherd Milo through the path of rebirth.
That seems reasonable,
Yes.
yeah.
Anastas believes that taking you all to the front gate should yield to Anastas, and then could bring the rest of you along with.
Up to and including Stone? Did Anastas expect to be trying to get into Karshtop?
Well,
with
when they
Stone?
left Arcadieva, they didn't think that you were going to be
what
there.
I mean,
so
though. That's what I mean.
You can go unnoticed, right?
I can.
We're cut from the same cloth, it seems, my friend.
Stone looks down at you.
We have given our word to Milo through the path of rebirth. I do not wish to leave Constantine to the job themselves.
Can you not return for us once you are complete in your task?
We could perhaps go and see to that town on the outskirts where the humans reside, like you had brought up before.
Or it does sound like we have an alternate means in. But without you as a guide, I do not like our chances.
The problem wouldn't be getting in, it would be remaining unseen once in there.
Sneaking in is not an option. You will be killed on sight.
When Anastas says that, Alexander's mind is filled with images of death and horror, but it does not show on his face.
It's, as I said, it's one option.
I both hate and love that the way that we play this game is that we reveal very lore significant things about each other to each other as players and not at all to each other as characters. It's very fun and also extraordinarily frustrating.
Love you guys too.
So,
you are the poster child of that.
Thinking about it, it may be possible to get in through the paths of rebirth while being discreet enough that you could use that as an entrance without having to undergo the ritual. Alexander, this had been a consideration you had made, although it was abandoned once other means were made available to you. And you do know where to find that secret entrance inside Karshtop Township. If it's still there. It's been some time.
Still there. Right.
That said, you know Anastas to be right, that sneaking in is doable to a point, and once inside, you might not make it very far.
Put it this way.
Can you really afford to kill yourselves for this?
Put it this way. Stone and Dorian, when you're inside, I think is more of a problem if we sneak in than for myself. That said...
Oh, absolutely. I definitely stick out like a sore thumb.
I am literally the enemy of all that these beings hold dear.
Yes, that was the joke. As in me compared to you.
Yeah, it does make it a bit harder.
However, the pilgrim, in her wisdom, saw fit to grant me the ability to pass unnoticed.
And thus, this trial weighs heavy on your shoulders as well. We will take the path of rebirth, from which I get my namesake, Anastas. How you choose to succeed the trials will be on the pilgrim taking them.
Has literally anyone ever survived this?
No one ever has been Dorian Caldwell.
Oh, dear.
We've come this far. I know the pilgrim has use for you yet, alive, and not one of us. It is here you will prove it.
Not to drag us on a tangent, but that does raise a very interesting question about whether or not both Dorian and Alexander could even possibly come back as a Najit with a fragment of Isho's soul inside of them.
I just turned into a monster.
Worth it.
Just
Definitely
become the
not all
BBEG.
tentacles and eyes for sure.
Oh, great.
Sure.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, the only thing that I can imagine that would be worse. Oh my god. Oh god. No, guys,
honestly,
wait a second.
Honestly, talented players, I think we take the path of rebirth and you guys figure out how to not die.
I mean, it was the front gate and you talking us in, or this. That's.
Or the
I'm not.
catacombs. There's literally
Apparently,
a secret path.
And now apparently the pilgrim walks with Isho. So,
But we have to.
They are one and the same. The paths are merged. This is as important to you as it is to anyone else. So Anastas will be going and does encourage you guys to do it as well. But I'm not grabbing you by the neck.
In solidarity, I will follow with you, Anastas, though unseen, as best I may.
It is not for me to decide how one passes the trials.
Oh God.
Well,
Alexander, what do you think?
I hope I'm not killing you guys, but that's legitimately what Anastas thinks, and it's the best I can come up with as a player.
There's also no reason that we all have to stay together.
There's no reason to stay together, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe you fall into a pit with spikes. Maybe they come out with spears and kill you.
That's what I'm curious about. Is like, what is the method of preparing the applicant?
I doubt Anastas ever had to do this specifically.
No, this is completely outside of Anastas's realm of what they would do.
Yeah.
But surely Anastas would know what manner of things lie within it, right?
Humans go in, Najit come out.
Yeah, that's all I would know.
Huh.
You do, I guess, Anastas, throw me a cunning check. You're a rather cunning individual, are you not?
I do not think I am whatsoever.
I think it's your worst.
Yeah, that's a dump stat right there for Anastas.
Anastas has no clue and is absolutely resolute that this is a good idea.
Oh, that's a terrible sign.
But I do want to very much stress that we obviously have no idea. We have to go, so we're going. I think it's important that at least Stone does it. I legitimately think
Stone will come. Stone will follow this back.
And if you guys want to take the people to the township, and
why do we think that Stone needs to undergo the ritual of rebirth?
As a symbolic gesture.
Anastas thinks that we are walking in the path of the pilgrim together.
I see. Okay, sure. All right.
Fuck it, let's go.
And Stone would be 100% on board with that, especially because Stone absolutely 100% does not actually want to have to go into this city at all, ever. In fact, being near it is almost viscerally nauseating for Stone.
Yeah, Stone is looking up right now at that high wall, atop which dangle chains on top of the high wall.
One of his forearms throbs mercilessly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's your ancestor, isn't it?
Yep. Chains of the High Wall was Stone's ancestor and is the reason that he is an outcast from Hadra society. Yeah!
Behind you, Alexander, as this conversation is happening, you see Talia's head fall in tears as she weeps over the body of Milo, who has expired.
I'll
go ahead.
I would just go over to put a hand on her shoulder and just kind of be there for silent support.
Milo's body is wrapped in burlap, and he is thrown onto. There's been a litter that he has been carried on these past few days, and you, along with the Gardanian militia, the survivors of Raymond's Folly, and a Karovid Hadra, head down into Karshtop Township. Karshtop Township is
as a note beforehand, I am absolutely going to be invisible already.
Yes.
I do not think I can safely pass through this otherwise.
At least until a safe place is found. I think that makes sense. Karshtop Township is a sordid, melancholy affair. The streets are lined with refuse and garbage. Beggars, mostly corrupted or dying, reach out to you as you pass. Please, alms for alms, one croaks to you, holding out a withered, bony hand. She looks half Najit already. The streets here are narrow, more alleys than not, and above hang sheets from the wash, many having hung there for days or weeks by the moldering on them. The buildings lie half-ruined, many missing roofs, or with repairs cobbled together from salvage, converted wagons, horsehide, and thatch, and the smell of shit and garbage fills the air. You guys head towards, you're heading towards the chapel to head towards the Paths of the Dying. Is that what I'm understanding?
Sounds like.
That's what I'm doing.
At this point, the Captain Frederick, or Frederick Captain of
Frederick, I knew it was something like that. Dang it.
Turns to you all and says, well, thank you for reuniting us and joining us on this journey. But I think this is where our paths diverge. He looks up at Anastas and begrudgingly holds out his hand to shake yours.
Anastas reaches out their hand. I spoke true when I said there was a debt to be repaid.
Well,
I wish we could have saved Raymond's Folly, but I know you lead your people true. And should we continue on our paths, they will cross again in better standing.
I hope that they do. Thank you again. And the Gardanian militia and the townsfolk of Raymond's Folly head towards sort of the center of this side of Karshtop Township, where in the distance you can see an old gray building that has a raven drawn on a side out front that reads the Raven's Hollow Inn.
Before they can fully depart, if I may, I do go up to the captain as well and say, when you get to Yindarin, if you're able to get to King Wilhelt, tell him that you met Alexander. Tell them that he wishes the king well.
I will certainly do that. You take care, and if you change your mind about our offer, you know where to find us.
I hope to be there at some point, one way or the other. We will see then.
I don't know how you're going to make it into this city alive, much less
Wouldn't be
make
the
it
first
out.
time.
Godspeed.
Godspeed.
All right.
So Milo's dead. Milo's gone.
Milo is dead. And Talia is now, having slung his body over her shoulder, is following you towards the paths of the dead.
Anastas approaches her.
She is resolute.
As a warrior's spirit lies deep within you, and a will to carry out thy lover's wish. I deeply admire, Thalia. I will do everything I can to make sure this path stays true.
I'm going with him.
Lead the way. This path is yours to walk.
All right. At the base of Karshtop's high wall is set a tall, narrow building topped by a great dome. Huge columns frame the building, a temple by your estimation. A skull with a halo of gold is carved into the face of a statue with outstretched hands, beckoning you forth. The church is surrounded by a small mob, prostrating themselves before it, and in the din of their exhalations, carries through the ruins and echoes off the high wall, rising some hundreds of feet above you. Shouts and cries of mercy and exhalations to Istolt and the first pilgrim echo over the otherwise quiet ruins. The square is filled with living humans, all on their knees, begging or praying or some combination of the two. Among them, you see wealthy men and beggars, old women and young maidens. Many bear the marks of corruption or festering wounds or illness. In their arms they carry riches, some coin, some others bottles of fine wines or spirits, golden chalices, rings and bangles, wines, jars, urns, even cattle, swine, and furs. Give us your blessing, O Grand One, whose wisdom is so great. Deliver us from the evils of the flesh, shouts one near you. Please have mercy, coughs another, an elderly woman. Her withered form hardly enough to keep her upright. Up ahead, the great wooden doors of the basilica, reinforced in bronze-tinted metal, remain shut, and the cries of the people go unanswered.
We approach the door. Oh, I approach the door, guys. I'm not a monolith.
Stone kind of whispers to Anastas. Is this normal?
Not in these numbers. You had never heard of this. And you also rolled an 18 on your cunning check to know anything about what's going on here. So this strikes you as strange and not normal, but you don't know for sure.
I know not for why the trials would be withheld. That's a fair statement.
Yeah. So you are going to approach the door, even Stone?
Stone being unseen will happily approach the door.
Okay.
Alexander will put his hand on Anastas and I'm sure I know that you know more about the city than I do, but for me, I have always walked a different path, and I have survived before. I will find my own way, if that is best for the rest of you.
As I've said before, Alexander, it is not for me to decide how one passes their trial. And death is always knocking.
Farewell, my friends. I will see you on the other side. And he will depart towards the inn.
Is Dorian going to go with Anastas, Stone, Talia, and the body of Milo? Or join Alexander?
He's gonna look back at Alexander for a moment, give him a nod, and just say, "Be careful, friend. See you on the other side." And then go and follow Anastas.
Oof. Splitting the party has always been so good. And so...
Yeah, a
When has it ever
1-3
worked out
split
poorly?
is also a great
Yeah.
idea.
Should Stone go with... God, I do like the symbolism of Stone coming in this way, but I also don't necessarily think that Stone would just let Alexander go by himself. In fact, I don't think that Stone would.
There's more than one way.
Stone is gonna go with Alexander. I just don't think that we can run the risk.
I also don't want to ruin anything you were trying to do, though.
Split it more.
I mean, it'd be better to be 2 and 2 than 3 and 1.
Probably.
Well, the other way to look at it is if anyone is going to be best at operating solo in terms of like sneaking into a place, it's Alexander.
And the invisible guy, not so much the cripple.
I'm gonna stick with it. I want to see what happens.
There is a legit reason why Dorian would. The catacombs may be where these...
That's true. So one of the things I think that Stone knows is that there were vast archives of like Hadron times that were contained within the city. And if they are anywhere, if they survive anywhere, it would be in like forgotten tunnels underneath the city.
I think that might be your path.
I think that might be your way.
God damn it. He does have a lot of experience with underground ruins.
Also, you're the cartographer. I don't know. I could see.
Okay, all right, okay.
As opposed to potentially facing death.
We face death no matter which way we pick.
You don't know that.
Alexander, wait up for me. I'm coming.
I'm coming too.
I'll come too, I guess.
All right.
Of course you're going to the catacombs, and I'm coming with you.
All right. Anastas, Talia, and Milo approach the door.
And Stone.
Secretly. The door does not budge. It is locked from the inside. Barred.
Locked from the inside. If processions would have been led here, there would have been a priest with a censer and chanting. I remove the censer from my chest. I hand it to Constantine and begin Najit prayer.
As you begin to pray, and your prayers fill the square, everyone quiets a bit, assuming that you are going to lead them to their salvation. Some of them, in fact, some small group of them near the front have skulls painted onto their faces and join with you in the prayers that you are that you start to say. And the doors behind you. Are you turned towards the crowd or the doors?
The doors.
Okay, so the doors in front of you slowly open, and rather quickly, two Najit Diocese of Might warriors come out with shields and spears pushing out. The crowd has started to rush towards the door, and they are pushing the crowd back, including Talia and Milo, and inside, and gesturing for you to enter quickly.
I reach my arm out and pull Talia and Milo in front of me, making eye contact with the guards. These ones walk with us.
That is not for you or for us to decide. The evangelist will choose who walks.
The evangelist? Anastas will, maybe, perhaps, levy their boon and boom over the crowd. If you think you can halt my steps, then try. Know your place! And I would like to invoke Terrify.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Tell me about Terrify.
Terrify gives me a +1 to persuasion if I'm trying to be scary.
Yeah. Okay. Make a persuasion check.
Fuck.
Oh, it's horrifying.
Horrifying.
Jeez.
Get it together.
You push through the guards who allow Talia and Milo past, look at one another, and then quickly close the doors behind you, leaving you in a dimly lit basilica, lit only by a few small windows high above amidst the dome of the ceiling. Several pews sit dusty and unused before an icon you haven't seen in many long years. The curved form of the first pilgrim being drawn up from her heart, from death into new life. This icon is brilliantly carved from marble, a true work of art, surrounded by shadows and dust. The two guards closing and latching the door disappear and leave you alone in this empty temple.
Just a temple?
Yeah. There are some doors that lead out of it, but right now you're sort of in the main church area. Above you, like I said, there's that large dome where is depicted several scenes from Najit Orthodoxy's history.
Yeah. Look upon it, Talia. These are the ways. This is what you have chosen. Constantine This is where we were born. And how.
Talia looks warily at everything, but says nothing. Constantine, looking around, says, "It is not what I expected. Why are the pews empty? Why is this basilica not filled with prayers?"
Then perhaps we should fill it ourselves.
You hear footsteps from behind you. "Do you like our basilica, Anastas the Great Wheel?" Wheezes a voice from behind you, and Najit, with a blackened skull and black velvety robes adorned with gold rings at the collar and around the wrists, descends a narrow spiral stair at the back of the room. You recognize this garb as that of Diocese Purity, the Black House. "I will admit to surprise at finding you walking the path of rebirth, even after your great absence." The priest surveys you pointedly.
I found it appropriate to atone for my absence, and I have shepherded here 3 warriors wishing for the pilgrim's blessing.
I see. Our resources here, you must know, are limited. There is not enough black sap or enough of my people to bring all who wish into the city. Why should these be chosen?
Constantine has walked with me from Arcadia, freeing themselves from the traitor Horatio the Ninth. Constantine has served me well and has learned our ways and has spent many nights in prayer, awaiting their arrival, their true rebirth at the doors of Karshtop. Talia has tasted the blood of the Andaran threat and has fought and killed for this land. I give my word as Provoslov that these 2 have the will and conviction to carry the lost child.
Yes, that is all very well, very well. What have they brought in offering?
For what else do you need but their service?
I'm sure you know that an offering must be gifted to the Orthodoxy to grant passage.
For what use do you have offering, priest?
For the grandeur of the Orthodoxy, of course, and, as I said, there is only so much sap to go around.
I imagine that all of this is going on, and Stone is like desperately pressed up against the wall somewhere in the back,
like the two like guards like walk past.
This is
around.
Clearly unbecoming of someone in this position, correct?
In Anastas's opinion, absolutely.
And he's just a clergyman?
He is a clergyman of the Black House of Diocese Purity. I don't recall if we had said that House Might hates House Purity or not.
They do not like each other.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And there, Anastas was the olive branch because Anastas, why Anastas is black,
Yeah.
Was from Purity and gifted to Might along with Puridicida. So Anastas would absolutely be very alarmed by this behavior and this suggestion. I do not wish to create a problem in here, as insofar as I can help it. I assure you, their service is offering enough.
Give me a persuasion check. This is going to be -4.
-4. Do I get my +1 because I'm scary?
Do you want to be looming and scary?
I think Anastas is natural.
It's just naturally looming and scary.
I will let you make the decision. You can be looming and scary, but the consequences of being looming and scary to this man...
I will make the check at -4.
Okay.
The pilgrim wills it.
Because of your position, we shall make an exception. However, I would ask that you do something for me first. You have the trial does not begin until sunset, at which point I will take these. And I would ask you that should I do a favor for you, you will do a favor for me.
Bishop. Or what would be his title?
So he was called the Evangelist. This is not something you're familiar with.
At all.
No.
How long were you gone again?
A long time.
That's what I thought.
But this guy's old. He's black, fully skeletal.
Yeah.
And
as you know, so one thing that Anastas would know, being from Purity do not dye themselves black. They become black from spending so much time around the black sap burning. So yeah, to be fully black takes a while.
This is very unbecoming of someone. He calls himself the Evangelist. This looks like a regular, normal person. I imagine even in Purity, they don't necessarily have a whole lot of rank. So what would be like the standard title?
This person is almost certainly in charge of this church. So
yeah.
Priest would be...
Priest. I'll call him Potter.
Sure.
Potter, I must confess before you and the pilgrim, this is highly unusual.
You have been gone a long time, Anastas. Things have changed. And the favor I request is, of course, for the might of the Orthodoxy. It is to assure that our laws are not questioned. Certainly, you, of all the Nijit, should know the importance of this.
What is your request? That I may...
There is a merchant in Karshtop Township, a man by the name of Eoqialyn. I believe that he has been stealing from the good people who come here in supplication before the pilgrim. I believe that he has been violating our laws. I think that you should speak with him and see if you can find proof of these stolen wares and make an example of him if necessary. In particular, a bottle of Twilight tincture has been stolen from my personal reserve. I would wish it returned.
This is crazy.
Yo, you're not gonna believe this.
I will go forth and do the pilgrim's will.
Constantine says, I will stay here with Talia and our soon-to-be brother and wait for you.
I would expect nothing less. And Anastas is going to put a hand on Constantine's shoulder, look at him, and nod. And leave.
Just sad, hunched shoulders, resigned. Anastas leaves the building. Angry. What are the rest of you doing?
Stone is kind of shimmying along behind, trying really hard not to bump into anything while he's invisible behind Anastas.
There's
has to go through doors very quickly.
There's a candelabra that just shakes to the sign as you brush past. All right, Dorian and Alexander, what are you guys getting into?
Well, probably a couple of tankards of ale. Am I right?
So you guys are going to the Raven's Hollow?
But yes, no, we go to the Raven's Hollow.
All right. What once may have been an inviting inn, Raven's Hollow is a gray, bleak place. While not yet ruined, the building seems on the verge of it. Roof boards are missing, windows are broken, stone, gray and flat, crumbles around it. Inside, a meager fire is barely enough to cook by, much less keep the room warm. Some few weary folk sit about the bar sipping flat beer and eating a runny-looking porridge. Behind the bar is a well-dressed skeleton with a wig of large gray hair and the old remnants of a fine gown. She animatedly stirs a large pot of the mealy food. Stir, stir, stir the pot, she sings in a grating, sharp voice. Stir, 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 pot, pot, pot.
Terrible.
Well,
Dorian says as he kind of takes a look around.
Well, it's a bit more run down than I recall it, but it still has its charm. I mean, listen, we've got dinner and a show.
They have a literal skeleton that's cooking.
And we have a literal skeleton that kills things for us.
Well,
are we much better?
I feel like that's a little different.
Are we much better?
I'm sure. I'm sure she is quite lovely. Listen to that singing voice.
Stir, stir, pot, pot, pot.
I'm sold.
Are
Dinner
you
and a show.
deaf?
I think it's great. 2, please, and 2 of your finest ales.
Milk for me, please, actually.
1 milk and 2 of your finest ales.
Oh, yes, coming right up. She comes back with 2 glasses that have the same liquid in them that smells neither like milk nor like beer, but perhaps a little bit like piss. And she hands them 2 silver.
If that's
She takes them both, looks at them, and then puts them into her eyes, and then goes back to her pot. Porridge, porridge.
got a wide range.
I am not drinking that.
Alexander takes a sip.
It resembles beer.
I've had worse. So, Dorian,
Imagine Dorian like plugging his nose.
Yeah, like
He's not drinking it. He just slid his over to him.
I don't know what's happened to this path exactly. It has been some time. It's been a couple years at least. It should still remain, but
What is it a path to, exactly?
into the lower levels of Karshtop, including some very ancient before the Najit. But they seem to go on forever. Some are unexplored, as far as I'm aware. But there are ways to get into the city through this.
Why did you have to come into this city before? Yeah, I understand that it was probably to get something of value. I am not I'm not judging you. I am simply curious. Why did you have to get into the city? If most of the valuable things are beneath it.
Well, I wouldn't say most of the valuable things lie beneath it. There are many items of interest that do reside in Karshtop. That said, it was for, of course, a job, and it did require a bit of deft, to evade many of the Njit. That said, the majority of my time was spent underground.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Well. If it isn't Roderick the Shrubber. Or was it Kylet Winters? Oh, wait. I remember. It was Billy the backstabbing bastard who stole all my money. Alexander, you feel the cold press of a dagger against your throat. How are things, Billy?
Personally, I prefer Roderick, but they're going well. And for you, what did you go by at that time?
Does it really matter? Maybe my luck is about to change after all. And who's your friend?
I'm
Before you
at...
is standing a woman who is wearing sort of like knee-high riding boots, a vest, and has like curly hair, like long around her shoulder. She has a rapier and a whip at her side, and a like large satchel on her back. Very smartly dressed, but certainly of the adventurer scoundrel type. She is devastatingly beautiful. And when she smiles at you, Dorian's nerd knees just start, like, knocking together.
I'm Dorian, and
Pleasure to meet you, Dorian. And she shakes your hand. Lyra Skylark.
She kind of smiles and blushes a little bit. I suppose I should also emphasize I'm not necessarily a friend of his, more of an acquaintance. Whatever you had problems with him before, I wasn't involved in any way.
Your friend is so much fun, Billy. Now, Billy, tell me what brings you into the city today? And, more importantly, why shouldn't I kill you right now?
Oh, Lyra, you know me better than that. What kind of nefarious deeds could I be up to?
All sorts of nefarious deeds, she says, sitting down next to you, the dagger still pointed at your throat.
Well, surprisingly, I did not come to take anything this time. In fact, I'm looking to get just simply in.
Well, isn't that interesting?
And you, I will admit, I did not expect to see you alive again.
I'm sure you wouldn't. But you're right, killing you isn't really my style. I could take your balls, but I'm sure that we can find better use for those now, can't we? And she spins the dagger and puts it away.
Dorian just coughs.
Quick as ever, Lyra.
When he takes a sniff of the beer and then just hears that and just...
Well, keep another one for our friend that will be joining us.
There's someone else coming?
She says, there's no need for that. And out of her satchel pulls a bottle and 2 glasses. She puts one in front of Alexander, one in front of herself, and completely ignores that Dorian exists.
Well, Lyra,
that's fine.
That would have cost a pretty penny. I'm sure that it was very, very difficult to...
Sure, it cost a pretty penny for someone.
Well, I've never been one to turn down a drink from a pretty girl.
So, you're trying to get in. And as it happens, so am I. And the way I see it, you owe me.
Well, you've been to Karshtop before. You know how to get in, too. My goodness.
The way is not as simple as it had been in the past. Our little secret has been discovered, and a new way will have to be found. I was hoping that you had one.
Unfortunately, last time I was here in Karshtop was... well... but...
The way I see it, you walked in with one of the bone men.
Are you referring to before, or are you talking about right now?
No, like today.
Like the past. No, today.
Did I or did I not watch you walk into town with one of the bone men? And, as I seem to recall, a rather large man. Very large. The sort of thing that most people wouldn't want others to know about.
Now, Lyra, don't get excited here. I don't believe he's interested in humans. That said, yes, that is our other companions that we were hoping to meet on the other side. Figuratively, of course.
So they have a way in, and you were planning to use our old hole. And that way is shut, so now what's your plan?
Oh, please, not the old hole. I'm sure it's still very nice. But, I believe now that the current state of things, if the way is shut, that, well, the catacombs were large. There can't be only one way in or out of them. And I imagine that there have been others who have tried to find new ways in as well.
Well, actually, that's a very interesting thing about catacombs is although there may be several ways in, a lot of them could just be strewn throughout the city proper itself and still entirely enclosed off to us.
Well, here's my proposal. We work together to get into the city. Because you owe me. And in exchange for your help, I will help you with whatever you need, and you help me get the biggest score of both of our lives.
Now, that was going to be my question. Because of course you're not here for sightseeing.
Although the sights are, she looks you up and down, worth seeing.
Jesus Christ.
What remains still in Karshtop that is yet to be taken or lost?
Well, see, I happen to find something. Something which led me to something else, which led me to believe that our dear Emperor of the Lokai Emperor, the Andaranax, did not leave the city after his death, as we were told, and that the body is buried within a secret chamber that has been hidden from the Jajit for 300 years. And I have a map that is going to get us there.
I
And
turn
she
to Dorian.
pulls out a scroll.
And may I see that,
No. And she puts it away.
please?
I have to know that
Oh.
you're in, before I'm going to share my secrets.
In
And I think
in,
that you need to share some of your secrets, too.
me.
Yes. I'd like to know all of your secrets.
I don't particularly have any secrets, actually. What exactly would you like to know? You and your damn secrets.
I winked at Dorian.
Is that just some sort of thing with you? Well, what did you want to know?
So what brings you to Karshtop? My original question. You want to get in, yes, but why?
Knowledge, mostly, honestly. I'm looking to look into some of the old ruins of the different Hadra Cortons underneath the city, along with visiting the library, of course, for as long as I can.
My mousy little friend, knowledge is a means to an end. Always is.
Well, that's...
So what is your end? What do you want to know so badly? You're going to risk turning into a shambling undead ghoul to get it.
I had never really thought about it. I've literally dived headlong into terrifying catacombs and things before, simply to find different artifacts. I suppose I'm just in it for the pursuit of knowledge and for its own sake.
Oh, you found a true believer, Alexander.
Well, we're kind of
Arcadia,
the
born
same
and
cloth.
raised.
So I know why he's going, but why are you going? Now that is a more interesting question.
Well, supposedly some greater purpose of which I don't quite know or quite understand, but our mishmash of a party all have led to this one place. And as Dorian said, there may be answers to our predicament within there.
Listen,
Just
I'm
gonna
happy to
plop
cut
that
you
out.
in, but you're going to have to cut me in. So cut the crap. Why are you here?
Well, Dorian and I have a soul. And we're trying to figure out, we at least, are trying to figure out why.
You're secretive about everything, and then this you just plop onto the table with someone that just had a knife to your fucking throat.
Always keep him guessing, Dorian.
What?
That is interesting.
What on
A soul, you say?
Oh my god.
I don't quite understand it myself, like I said, but it's... I may be a little bit of a liar at times, but... This I'm truly stumped about, and I don't know how else to go about it.
Can you cast magic? Have you
No.
become a wizard?
No.
That's what it is. You have become wizards, and we are now searching for ancient knowledge.
Of a sort?
Actually, you aren't all that far off. Although I don't believe in the term wizard per se, but I can do this. And he snaps his fingers and just produces like a flame out of thin air, and then snaps his fingers again and shuts it off.
He's very handy for lighting a pipe.
Then I think our paths are certainly going to cross. Because the location of the Emperor's tomb is beneath the temple to Barullo. I think that you could find something very interesting there.
Oh, I'm sure I could.
All right, I'm in.
Well,
How the hell are we getting down there if this place is sealed up?
That is an excellent question. I think...
How precisely was this place sealed? Is it something that we could engineer a way around or through?
How are you at digging?
He kind of looks over at his cane and just, not the best.
Blasting?
Now, that I do have some
Have you ever
experience
tunneled
with.
through a mountain?
Well, in theory, I suppose you absolutely could, but I've never actually tried it in practice.
Excellent. You begin tunneling. Alexander and I are going to find another way in.
Huh.
apologies, Dorian. She's always been a bit of a tease. What does your map say? Is there... How far reaching does it go?
Or are you in possession of any just regular maps of Karshtop itself? Some of these catacomb entrances might be denoted in some of the older maps of the area.
So the map I have is an old map. Old, before the time of the Najit. Which is why it's useful to us. It shows the locations of all the temples prior to their destruction. Barullo's temple was burned, as I'm sure Alexander, you remember. But there are, as you have said, significant catacombs beneath. That, I believe, is where we will find our dearly deceased emperor. Our entrance was the result of a collapsed tunnel that allowed us to get in that has then since been sealed. But I can tell you that the catacombs lead all the way down to the basilica at the other end of town. And a friend of a friend assures me that smugglers' tunnels do still exist and are being used even today to bring things in and out of the city. We just need to find them.
Do you have a way to get in contact with this friend of a friend?
No, he's dead.
Oh, right. That would put a hindrance on things now.
Well, in this town, not necessarily.
All bets are off in Karshtop. That said,
Is it one of those dead, or is it dead?
6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
It's a yes or no question. Is he dead or not?
I think that we are coming to understand is a much more complicated question than you are giving it credit for, my young man. That said, he is dead, and perhaps could be made undead. Or perhaps we find another smuggler who might know.
Well,
I'm sure there's someone in this town who's feeding off these people.
Well, why don't you two work on that? Yeah, on finding a smuggler, and I'll take a look around and see if I can find a map.
Sounds as good a plan as any.
I think we can make that work. If you...
Excuse me. Oh, sorry.
No. If you can get us to the Basilica, I think we can start searching for those tunnels and those smugglers.
Excuse me, barkeep.
Double, toil and trouble. Yes, what can I get for you?
Yes, I was actually wondering if you might know where I could find a map of Karshtop.
I will be right back. And she
Perfect.
goes into the back and starts rummaging around. You hear the squeal of a cat. There are various objects that are like thrown out, the smashing of glass. You swear you hear a chainsaw start up. And she comes back with a very crudely drawn, almost children's drawing of Karshtop with like the main gate and like humans go here. And like the like grand cathedral at the center of it that like has like a small figure that looks very much like the Pope sitting on top of it. That to be 3 taler.
I am not paying for that.
Do
you know anyone else that may sell a map and not whatever this is?
What's his name? Mikolaus. Yes, I'm sure that's his name. He's in town here somewhere, I think. Gerald, where is it that Mikolaus is? Gerald at the end of the bar is sort of an elderly man with a big white beard, and he just sort of shrugs. Yes, I'm sure he's around here somewhere. Are you staying the night?
Does he frequent here?
Gerald? Every day.
No. Mikolaus.
No, never heard of the man before.
What?
What's your name?
Why did I come this way?
Would you like
And
to
Dorian
stay the
will
night?
just... No. He'll turn around and start walking away.
Well, Lyra, suppose we should be...
Can't get a straight answer anywhere.
Oh, this should be fun.
And to be fair, Lyra, I can't help it about the money and the chalice. You left it out there. You left it way out in the open, in your bag, in your tent that evening. What was I supposed to do?
Her look goes exceptionally sour and she glares at you. Was not all you took, was it? And she brushes past you coldly as she walks out into the street. Stone and Anastas. What are you up to?
On our way to find Eoqialyn. Did we get any hints from the evangelist as to where this motherfucker is?
Yes, yeah. He would pointed you in the direction of a small shack that this merchant trader has some short way outside of town. And in fact, as you walk up to it, Dorian, Alexander, and Lyra are walking up to it as well.
Well, hello, friends. That was quick. Did you pass the trials?
Not quite.
Oh.
So what brings you down here?
I am providing a favor for entry.
I suppose you could say the same thing about us.
Indeed.
How unique.
Stone is still invisible and is not speaking.
How uniquely serendipitous.
What, oh, pardon the rudeness. This is, Lyra Skylark. This is, because he doesn't see,
she bows.
Stone.
Pleasure's all mine.
This is Anastas.
Anastas enters the shack.
He does that.
A hunchbacked man in a thick brown cloak sits outside a ramshackle stall to the side of the road amidst a crumbling ruin. Hanging outside are moldering clothes, baskets and barrels of small rotting foods, threadbare cloaks, frayed ropes, rotting tools, and all manner of broken pot and jar. The hunchbacked human smiles at you, showing a small silver tooth amongst the rest of his rotting grin. Welcome, welcome, friends. An auspicious meeting this is, and I am humbled by the honor of providing you whatever it is you find yourself in desirance of.
Greetings. And your name?
I am Eoqialyn.
Oh, I was actually told to speak to you to try and procure a map. The city of Karshtop. Preferably one not drawn by a 4-year-old.
Are you looking for a new map or an old map?
He kind of glances over towards Alexander. Probably older.
Older is going to cost you. He sort of like hunched. He limps over to a basket, which he opens up and starts rooting around in tubes that he is looking at. Meanwhile, behind the counter, you see a brutish figure wearing sort of like a gray, brown, drab cloak, and on its head sits a like the prisoner's mask from Dark Souls, like that.
Yeah.
Like this big iron thing with just like 2 eye holes that are dark beyond. And he sort of grunts at you.
Well,
Stone invisible just takes all of this in and wonders how quickly things will go terribly wrong.
Eoqialyn turns around. Now, I have what you are looking for. He lays it down, but he does not unroll it. Do you have something to trade?
I actually have a offer. I am well versed in making maps and could provide you with some copies of these with some due time, if you would like. Yeah,
So
you
I
see?
give this to you now, and you come back later with copies. I am sorry, friend. He pulls the map closer to himself. We cannot accept this deal.
Oh, you could turn around and sell
$6
those.
taller.
Anastas throws it at him.
Oh. Well, thank you. And I'll take the map.
He takes the coin and he inspects each one, counting them out, and quickly stashes them inside the folds of the large cloak and pushes the map over to you. You open it up, and it is a very fine, detailed map, probably from some time just after the Najit had taken over. And many of the newer temples are listed on here, but none of the temples of the old Eoka. It does, however, indicate that much of the catacombs beneath the city have been discovered, and indicates like a few areas where those might be found, but certainly not exhaustive. Are you, planning on taking the path?
I'm sorry, are you talking to me?
Yes, you just purchased from me. Cannot we make conversation?
Dorian has just been like staring down, zero social skills, just studying the map while he's talking at him. Yeah, sure. Do you have any newer maps, perhaps of what it's that I could cross-reference this with something more present?
I am not exactly a map salesman. I will see what we have.
You did just exactly sell me a map, sir. That would exactly make you a map salesman. Thank you very much.
He roots around in the back through that same cupboard, and he comes back. It would help if I knew what exactly the area of the city it was that you were looking for. Are you looking for blueprints? Are you looking for a tourist's map?
Anything to do with the catacombs, having to do with present times. Entrances, exits, and the map of the catacombs themselves would be...
Entrances and exits?
To be fair, those aren't usually just denoted on a map.
Well, that information I do have.
Oh.
Well, then I suppose I probably should have just led with that then.
Perhaps you should have.
I do love maps, though.
Doesn't hurt to have a couple extra, Dorian.
Well. He looks at Anastas. No, never mind.
I take it you have worked with some people who've been in the city before, though.
Oh, yes, of course. I have dealings with all sorts. People coming in, people going out.
We would like to do the same. Going in, particularly, but also being able to come out. That's a very important part of this.
Your friend should be able to enter the city, no problem.
The rest of us, though, a little more of one.
I'm sure that your friend can get you into the city without delay.
Anastas, you said that you had to do some sort of favor in order to gain entry into the path?
Anastas remains silent.
So, about that present map.
Or about the entrances. That's more, I think, what we are looking for.
But also the maps.
He likes maps.
Especially if they're selling for that much and I have the means to make them.
I'm sure I don't know anything about any entrances to the city that may or may not be legal. I'm closing up my shop for today. Thank you very much. It has been good meeting you all. Come back tomorrow. Goodbye. Goodbye.
You just said that you did it. Oh.
Goodbye, friend. We will catch up later.
Alexander, as you are going out, he grabs you and pulls you close and just says, "Meet me out back," and then pushes you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Come alone.
Oh, that was helpful. Is Stone around?
He taps you on the head.
Okay, good to know.
Do they leave?
Is Anastas staying inside?
Anastas is staying in the shop.
Okay. Oh no.
So he's like
Stone is
looking out the door and he's
Alexander.
like counting and he's like he turns around and like turns straight to Anastas and like sort of jumps. Ah!
Do you know why I am here?
No. I have customers of all sorts. What is it that I can help your immensity with?
You've been stealing from the evangelist.
I have done no such thing.
You need not to admit it to me, for you know it to be true. I need but one thing. I wish I have no care for your dealings. I have no care for your misdeeds. I, however, have a calling that needs completion. You are in possession of a twilight tincture. I require it.
This guy is like sweating. Pulls out like a handkerchief and he's like wiping himself down. Twilight tincture. Yes. I'm sure that can be acquired. I have it. I do. I swear I do. I first need to acquire it from a safe house that I've put it in.
Where?
Well, you don't have to worry yourself with that. I can go fetch it. No worries.
Mikolaus. I know you have your security, and perhaps you are willing to wager he is enough to stop me. But I'm assure you, your shop will suffer damage in the chaos. As I said, I do not care for your dealings, but you will not be pulling one over Anastas the wheel. Now with haste, give me the tincture and take me to it.
I wasn't lying. The tincture is in a storehouse of mine. It's on the just outside the outskirts of the city. I can point. I can lead you there if you would like. Well, why don't we go now? Why don't we go now?
Thank you.
So he like opens the door and leads you out and the great brute comes along with just sort of stalking behind you, grunting and saying nothing else. Is the rest of the so Alexander, you sort of like are behind the house, sort of like trying to look casual, and you see Anastas and then Mikolaus pass, and Mikolaus just has like a wide look in his eyes as he looks at you, and then like scurries along, and then the great brute behind Meanwhile, what are Stone and Dorian doing?
Stone is absolutely following this little party of people as they conga line away from the shop. Just like Stone is just a big invisible dude that can't do anything right now, and he needs to stick to an Astos like glue, and that's what he's doing.
Alexander would like to follow too, but he's gonna let Lyra know. I'm going to follow this group. Guess keep with Dorian. Make sure he doesn't get into any trouble. I should return soon. I haven't taken anything yet.
So, where are we going? Where are we going?
Like Alexander could help in this situation in multiple ways, but he doesn't know yet.
So that's the thing. So I at first I thought that Stone being invisible was gonna be way too good, and now it's more like Stone has to be invisible because if he wasn't invisible, he would almost assuredly be killed instantly. Like, so if something happens, I don't really know what Stone's gonna do about it.
So Mikolaos leads you through the ruins into a small barracks, a short way outside of town, in a squat, ruined building. This is the place. And he sort of moves aside like a large. There's like hanging vines in the way, and he moves that aside to a door. He takes out a key, and he opens it, and walks inside. Are all of you going to follow?
I don't think Anastas will. I think we've gotten this far. If he wants to run away, I guess he runs away and we find a safe house because I'm sure Alexander will follow him down there. But Anastas is just going to say the tincture and you will be gone with me.
It is some ways yet.
You are trying my patience, Nikolaos.
It's down in the catacombs. It is far away from prying eyes.
Then lead.
Did Alexander
towards the door?
Alexander did hear that.
You say tincture?
You whispering to me?
Yeah. And Anastas.
Anastas nods.
What kind of tincture?
Anastas literally does that.
Alexander rummages a little bit and pulls slightly out.
Looks like we've both gotten what we've come for.
Well, come along, the catacombs await.
Anastas is gonna put out his hand to Alexander. Hands me the tincture.
Hands him the tincture.
And I walk back to the door.
Stone is like, but invisible, and follows.
Alexander will do like a big old whistle, like a couple bird whistles. And Mikolaos, just wait just a moment. I think a couple others will be joining us. I don't think Anastas will.
What?
Don't worry, don't worry. We're all friends here, aren't we?
Yes. Yes, we are. Very well.
And did Lyra and Dorian here?
Nikolaos's goose is cooked.
Oh yeah.
So, Mikolaos just gestures to you, like to come on in. This way, this way. And he starts tottering down the staircase into this barracks.
Anastas walking away is going to take Alexander by the hand. Return to your people and remember this door. Study the map and allow Mikolaos to fester in a bed of his making.
Indeed. Another time, perhaps, I think. I hear my name being called.
Are you sure? It's just... This has been such a weird day. Come along, Ugo. As we have no business here any longer. And he
Alexander,
shuts the door behind, taking the key and, like, holding it up and then putting it inside of his coat. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. And the key drops to the ground in front of the door as Mikolaos totters away.
Roll like 4 minuses.
Yeah.
It's that lucky coin coming in handy already, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is.
Alexander just just kind of starts walking back towards Lyra and Dorian.
What?
All right.
What has happened? We made it to Karshtop, this land of like guilt skeletons, and this feels like the most like stereotypical Dungeons and Dragons session ever. Ever since we made it to the walls of Karshtop, all of a sudden,
chaos reigns, my boy.
Awesome.
Little levity
Great.
before it gets very dead inside.
This is true. It's
gonna get real dead.
I was thinking about that earlier. I'm like, this is amazing.
The strands of fate just kind of
have led us here.
All roads have led here, legitimately.
The tincture wasn't gonna ask Alexander for it.
No.
Alexander just so happened to be there. All fucking Anastas wants is to get this over with and shove it down the fucking dude's throat. Not literally, but...
All right.
I mean...
What is everyone doing?
Anastas is on his way back to the doors.
Okay.
Stone is still just following Anastas invisibly.
Chilling in the tavern, reading the map, waiting to hear back from Alexander. With Lyra, I guess she's also there.
Alexander, are you going to try and pilfer this place?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not all just yet.
Well, that was a bit of a waste. Now what? Lyra says to Dorian and Alexander, I presume.
I've returned at this point.
Oh, unless there was something else you wanted to do.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, I do believe that we have potentially found a nice way in, and he puts the key on the table. And then takes it back before Lyra can reach her hand out for it.
Do you know precisely where this catacomb entrance is?
Not exactly, but it's... The storeroom is a good place to start. And it could lead... If he's had dealings as such, it could be a good place, as we have mentioned, for some of those smugglers, some of those others who have gone in and out of the city.
Not that I'm there, but is it on the map? Like, if you look at the map, Alexander?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, yeah. And he'll, Is it on the newest map? The Mikolaos' storeroom?
It is not.
But I kind of like, take one of Dorian's crayons, the magenta one, and I put a little dot.
Right on this one.
Oh, apologies. Well, the storehouse is back there.
He flips it around to erase it, but it's a crayon, so it's just like makes more of a mark on there.
Oh,
I'd say it's our best
ancient.
bet.
I am gonna call that we are gonna be in like the last season of this game, and the fucking crayons will still be a thing that come up.
Oh, absolutely.
Calling it that this is now a part of our canon.
It's the writing implement they gave us, man.
It's what Zimbarum said.
There's no quills, there's no pencils, there's no pens.
Just crayons.
It's crayons.
But this does seem to be the best place to start, at least. Niklaus himself is a little odd, so the less we involve him, potentially the better.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Dorian to finish up his beer.
I told you I am not drinking that. That is disgusting.
Alexander then slammer dies it and puts it back down.
Well, pack our things. We're headed to Karshtop.
And here we go.
All right, you guys, pack up and head back to the door. Anastas, you return to the Basilica of Eoqialyn the Resurrected. Well, have you found what I was looking for?
I have acquired your tincture.
Excellent. He holds out his hands greedily.
I hold it up to him. Now open the way.
Wish you not to go with the rest of the supplicants?
Whatever do you mean? Priest?
I will bring 5 supplicants along this evening, or, for this favor, I could open the way to you without ferrying you through myself. I'm sure one as learned as you and your young disciple could carry them through the path just fine. A friend helps a friend under the pilgrim.
And, most importantly, my compatriots are still in this room.
Yes.
There's only 2 guards.
That you've seen.
God damn it.
This behavior is unbecoming of a member of purity, Pater. And I will speak plainly with you. It disturbs me, a Pravoslav of the Orthodox, that one would be covetous, such as this, especially one of your stature and age. I know not for why you need this, but all things under the pilgrim's light, and I hand it to him.
It almost slips through his fingers, and he scrambles to pick it up and holds it quickly to his robes. Thank you. I shall lead you to the path, then. He, ferrets it away, stands upright again, and then glides off, sort of through the basilica, deeper in, around a doorway that's sort of to the side of where the altar had been. And this leads to a smaller antechamber in the back. But there is a great door that has hundreds, dozens, if not hundreds, of skulls pressed into it, affixed to the front. The doors are bony, or the door's handles are bony hands that reach out to you, and you can see that they are moving slightly. In fact, all of the skulls are moving slightly. And he pulls out a great key that is made out of a bony hand that sticks into the lock. And you can see as the key goes in, it starts manipulating and deforming itself into a strange shape. And then he turns it and he opens the door. All of the skulls start chanting a Najit chant as it opens and leads to a dark corridor of stone leading into the mountain. Walk in the pilgrim's light, he whispers.
And we shall know this author. The pilgrim's path is not changing, and it never has. I suggest you walk in its path. And we proceed.
He glowers at you as the door closes behind. Meanwhile, Alexander, Dorian, and Lyra approach the barracks, find the steel door hidden beneath the ivy, open it, and walk into the dark, ruined barracks. Well, this is exactly the sort of place that would lead into the catacombs. Why didn't we find this place sooner? You are muted.
Has a bit of charm. Just a bit of a fixer-upper.
There's literal stones falling out, dirt everywhere, blood smeared on the floor, half of an arm laying there. What's that? She points to the arm that's lying in a pool of blood there in the center of
Oh my.
ruins.
That would...
And actually, we came here at night, didn't we? And Anastas and Stone are not here.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
That looks relatively fresh, doesn't it?
You guys are up in here now. And where is my blood stain? Boop-a-doop-a-doo, burp-a-dur. There we go, and there's my blood stain. Behind you, you hear the gate close and lock, and a low grunting.
Me, Klaus!
What was that?
I do believe we were followed.
Greedy little scallywags, you'll get yours.
You did have the key, right?
I do. But let's see. What do you have planned for us, Miklaus? I draw my daggers.
You'll see. You'll see.
I light up a torch or something to...
Sure. Okay, so 15 and... Oh, wait. I can make this even better. Let's make it a flickering torch. And let's make... Oh. I think I made you pink.
That's okay. I can deal with that. Can I see him?
No. Mikolaus is not here. He's like on the other side of the door, and he closed you in.
Okay.
And just
Was it this door? Or...
It's this door over here.
Okay.
Oh, that one here?
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
And actually, so really technically, you guys can go back here and see this. You can go in through there. It's this door right here. I don't know if you
that
can
was
see
the
that. That's the door that locked. Yep.
Okay, gotcha. So this one's technically open.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we moved in. Okay, got it. Oh.
And this is
I'm
the
trapped.
body that we found?
That's the body you found. Yep.
I'm
there
still
are
out
blood
there.
marks that are dragging it from like deeper into the ruins over here.
How fresh of a kill does this?
Very fresh.
Is it anyone that I recognize?
No.
Pat, can I move in? Oh,
Well,
nope, we're good. Do we see any anything else in this room? I suppose, like any immediate
No, so you've entered like I said, this is a ruined area. The floor is broken up. There's dirt and debris all over. There are two doors that seem to lead into. This is a building that's next to you here. That's covered with a roof. The area that you're in right now is not covered by a roof, but there are just like tall, like 20-foot tall walls sort of all around you.
Okay.
There's an archway over here that leads to two doors that you can see kind of leading into other rooms that are covered up farther in here. This is sort of like a courtyard, it looks like.
Gotcha, okay.
Right. Well, do you have any idea where this entrance may be? How do we know that it's even down here?
We don't now.
Oh, perfect.
But
so this could have just been entirely a trap, and he could have lied to you about it, and me, for that matter, just to lock us down here and butcher us.
There are more. There are plenty more doors. It's no use getting excited just yet. And did I notice coming in? Did the door look like it? Was it locked only one way?
Yeah. So actually, you just ran back to look at it. You can see that in addition to the lock, this is sort of like a there's like a small window, and you can look and you can see that like he's barred it as well.
Oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Dorian will start making his way over here in the courtyard to take a peek.
As you round the corner, you see 3 Jakar, like Minerva, but wild and mangy, covered in blood, feasting upon the corpse of some woman that lies dead there. One of them looks up at you, its haunches go up, and it growls.
Right, I'm going to slowly back up.
Is Minerva growling too?
Minerva also starts growling around the corner, and just like both of them, their hair is like getting farther and farther up. They're like circling one another, and the wild one like barks like twice, and Minerva like immediately starts cowering and like goes down to the floor and like scurries over behind you.
There's another body over there, and it seems as if there's some wildlife preying upon it at the moment.
Not attacking us, though. They should be... unfortunate to say, but the body should be helping us at this point, so I say we move quickly.
In response to the barking, you hear a low, deep, barking growl. Coming from deeper within.
That sounds more problematic.
Right. Let's go inspect this door.
Yeah, I agree. Let's check that out. Is it locked?
It is locked. Yeah, you go up to the door, and it does not yield to you.
I try the key.
The key fits in, and you're struggling with it a little bit. You think it's going to work, but just that it's jammed, and so you're sort of jiggling with it. When you hear from behind you, Lyra, I think that we want to hurry with that. And over the roof of the building, you see an enormous Jakar head. Three of its 6 claws are like holding on to the edge of the roof as it pulls its huge, corrupted like boils on it all over. It's got a huge bloody maw, and it growls at you as it starts making its way down the building. I'm gonna have everyone toggle initiative here.
Oh, fuck me.
That one is
Alexander,
less
hurry up with
distracting.
that.
You guys got this.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Combat in combat.
You'll be fine.
Okay, Dorian gets to go first here. Give me just a second. Let's find something appropriate. Dorian, it is your turn.
Alright, so Alexander's trying to get in the door.
Yep.
He can't get in the door. There's
Correct.
a giant slavering wolf fiend coming down from the roof of this building. And then I pull out my gun and I start blasting.
So anyways, I start blasting.
Blast.
And I pull out my gun!
Okay, make a shot. This is at -3.
Okay. Boom!
You fire
Boom.
3 damage straight into this thing's shoulder as it comes down. It does not even flinch. You hear the bullet drop and clink on the floor. Whoa, very loud. And tink on the floor below it as it continues to advance towards you. On its turn, it leaps down, barking and growling at you. Dorian, I need you to make a defense check, and this is going to be at 0.
Okay, so defense checks, I just click the armor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Woof.
Dodged it.
You dodge it. It leaps forward, and just at that moment, Alexander, I need you to make a quick check to try and get into this door.
Okie dokies.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, I assume just regular.
Yep.
Boom. On the money.
The door opens and you pull Dorian inside just in time. The beast gets to the door, and Lyra, she slides in right after you, and the beast starts gnashing its teeth and barking as you tumble inside what appears to be a storeroom of a very crotchety, strange salesperson. And behind it is a long tunnel that leads, you can see, towards catacombs.
Is there anything to bar this door with?
Absolutely, yes. So you run over, and there's, in fact, a bookshelf right next to the door. You could pull it down, and it would fall right in front of the door, barring the way.
Dorian does that, but hesitates for a moment, looking over the titles of the books, and he just whispers, "I'm so sorry," and just tips it over in front of the door.
Excellent. Yes. All right, and you guys make your way off into the catacombs and towards Karshtop. And that is where we are going to end our session today.
Ooh, all right.
Well done.
Sweet.
All right, everyone online, thanks for joining, and we will see you in like a month, it sounds like. I don't know. We're going to figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe 3 weeks.